right, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have some additions to resignations under the consent agenda. There's Hillary Hurtado, Joey Rodriguez, Janelle C., and Carrie Van Pelt, and Hannah Roth. And those are the only additions. So with that, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Curtis, Ryan Schreibogel. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second it.
Ryan Schreibogel and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
I have none this month.
Everybody's doing good this month, huh?
Watch out.
Okay, well then we'll move to financials.
Let
And
me start.
Mike,
Let me make something up.
hurry.
Okay, on the warrants, I didn't really see anything to necessarily point out. So I'll go ahead and just, on page 5, total warrants of $194,495.32. So it's back down where we expect
Yeah,
it to
a
be.
little better than last month's 900,000.
It's a lot better.
Yeah. Page 7 on our cash balances, we're doing okay there. You notice the federal funds are all negative because our board meeting's a week earlier than normal, so we haven't gotten those funds this month yet. But since they're federal funds, we can do it that way. And then page 9, our fund expense summary, we're where we expect to be percentage-wise still for the year, so we're looking good there. And then, of course, we have the transfers, and then behind that's the high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
Hey, Mike, remind me how long the Wheatland Electric, the 2020 credit is going on?
It was a year,
A year, 12 months?
12
Okay.
months.
I couldn't remember if
Should be
6 or
done.
12.
I think it's done, yeah.
Okay.
And I thought they actually treated us really well. I mean, they could have been far worse. But
Okay.
Beautiful new building, great man.
I know.
he had to
The
take care of the Taj
Taj
Mahal and Great Bend.
Curtis Peterson Mahal.
Go tour that thing last Friday.
Did you really?
Pretty nice.
Did you put on a tux when you went
Thanks,
into it?
everyone.
Maybe they put that electric vehicle charging station up.
There you go. First one. Yeah. All right, if no one has any questions for Mike, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $194,495.32.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Ruda and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. No public patron concerns, so on to administrative reports and Dr. Meyer.
A couple things to mention to you this month. The insurance committee is getting ready to gear up. March 22nd will be our initial meeting. Ryan Muda and Sean Sheets represent the board on that. We'll be, of course, Bill DeMoss, our agent, will be coming in, our broker rather. We'll be looking at United Healthcare and Blue Cross Blue Shield once back in the game, so we'll welcome him in. If we can create a bidding war, that's a good thing for us. We're having another good year within the use of insurance, so I'm hoping for minimal. We've had a couple of years of no increase, so cross your fingers. Anyway, that's coming up, March 22nd. Second thing, the Spark submission, got that in on time and got confirmation of the submission. That's the building, the CTE building trades building we're looking at with the concession stand and restrooms. Put it in for $900,000. Don't know we'll get it. Come April, they'll let us know what the next step is. They're categorizing it. There's like 4 specific areas of interest where they want to invest the monies, and I put in under education and workforce development. So, third thing, ESSER 3 work. The ESSER 3 is we've got like 1.3 million waiting for us. Honing in on finalizing the actual application. If you'll recall, there was a kerfuffle over trying to get information back from individual stakeholder groups. I found my way through that, so now it's just a matter of writing. The plans that we're continually working toward to address learning loss, And then anything we can do to help with social emotional learning, or supports rather, as we come through those trying times that we've just come through, it has had an impact. And so we've continually thrown our supports to those two areas over the last couple of years, and the plan is to continue doing so. And the final thing is, I got ahead of myself last month. The next month's board meeting goes back to 7 o'clock. So the April board meeting is at 7. Last month I incorrectly told you this one was at 7. So next month, 7 o'clock. That's my report.
All right. Well, let's move to buildings.
Is I did get a call from Terry Barnett from Mammoth, and our building might be 2 weeks early. So it might be here second week of April instead of May. I think it was May, correct? And tomorrow we're starting to dig our 850-foot water line. So I met with Tatro tonight, and we're gonna throw that in tomorrow morning. We're gonna start digging it for us.
And the work that Mammoth and all their subs have been doing, it's just been right on point. So even if it isn't here early, I have no doubts. I have every faith, rather, that they will finish it before the July 31st punch date. We get it in 2 weeks earlier, just all the better. Their orientation is come do the work, do it right, and get on down the road. And they've under-promised and over-fulfilled.
So far, everything they've done looks excellent.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Real nice
it's
job.
been a joyous experience with them.
That's all I have.
Hey, Tom, are we gonna continue the finishing of the road all the way to the
No,
barn?
because I don't believe that property is, I think that's the farmer's property right there, so we stopped right at our property line,
Right.
so.
And we're waiting for it to get hot, so that'll really get harder, those millings.
All right, thanks. All right. Lance, grounds.
Nothing further?
Okay. Sam, transportation. Okay, food service. Nothing further. Thank you, Monica. All right. Mr. Ackerman? Thumbs up. All right.
I would like to add in, if I could, we have continually having challenges with finding people to hire in specific areas across the district, specifically within janitorial and food service. So if anybody's listening to this broadcast, if you're interested in a flexible workspace with working with good people, we'd love to take your applications for food service and or janitorial or pretty much anything. We're really having difficulty finding people. So anybody on the board knows anybody, send them our way, please.
All right. We'll move to principals and Mrs. Albright.
You not coming forward?
I tried to invite Mrs. Novak to come up and speak about her wonderful projects that she's been doing, but she is opting out, so.
Miss
I'll-
Albright even asked me special earlier today, would it be okay if Emma came up and said, sure?
Okay, good, we talked right into it.
I said, oh, maybe, well, maybe let her come up.
Mrs. Novak and Mrs. Gifford, the counselors at the 2 elementary levels, have been doing some really great things with our students, and so I kind of wanted to highlight some of that. February 17th was Random Act of Kindness Day, and so they put together an activity for our students. They gave them scratch-off tickets that they would scratch off one or all areas, and we challenged the students to do that random act of kindness, and there was great participation with the students, and it was really fun seeing them. The parents and families got involved as well. Some of the acts required families to be involved and others didn't, but they were encouraged to email or send their pictures or videos of their students performing their act of kindness, and they put together a video that highlighted a few of the things, and it was really great to see. The kids were very excited about it, and so it was just a little thing that just like that made a big impact. So would you like to add anything else to it?
I think we were both recipients of a penny because one of them was supposed to put pennies in the hallway or somewhere up on your upside heads up, and I picked up, I'm like, wow, what is this? And she had picked one up too, and then we realized it was one that was on the scratch-off ticket, so it was kind of fun.
And I also came upon a piece of paper in the hallway and picked it up, and then later realized that one of the things was to leave a note somewhere in the hallway. And so I didn't realize. I was like, oh, how sad. Somebody wrote a really nice note and dropped it.
No, I left it in the
It was
hallway.
supposed to, yes. So they did a really great job. And so the video is attached to my board report if you'd like to take a look at that. And one other thing I want to note is I was told about an opportunity to apply for a grant through the Western Kansas Community Foundation. And so I did jump on that opportunity and wrote about hopefully getting a grant to work on preschool outdoor learning lab, get some more equipment for the preschool outdoor space. We just kind of have a hodgepodge of hand-me-downs or things that we found at garage sales or stuff like that. So we're hoping to get that grant to expand that space a little bit more. Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
So just to add to that, that happened probably, 2 or 3 weeks ago? And I had a little boy that came up today, so he really held it in for a long time and said, Mrs. Tyne, do you know that note you found on your car? Did you find a note on your car a little while ago? And I said, yeah. And he said, do you know what? And I said, was that from you? And he said, yeah. So I was pretty proud of him for holding that in for 3 weeks and not telling me.
Is it a different note than the one that I left you on your?
Probably so.
Okay.
Okay, and for mine, I just want to highlight our work with Gayla this year wrapped up. Recently, she's been doing a great job really going over some of the structured literacy things that teachers are needing to add into their ELA instruction. She's talked about syllabication and morphology and talked about comprehension. We've really enjoyed having her come in and help us with that as we're trying to figure out what that looks like and just trying to put some of those strategies into our lessons where we are highlighting different parts of words and expanding on that in order to increase vocabulary and understanding of the different word parts. One of the cool things that she did was develop a this or that choice board. So that through the work that she's done with our teachers, they can try something, and then we'll all come together and kind of talk about how it's going. So kind of to encourage that implementation of what we've been working on. So very happy with the work that we've done with her, and we are sad to hear that she's retiring. We'll miss her.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Helton.
I guess I'll give another kudos to Ms. Novak. Thanks to her leadership and Mrs. Cranston's, the NAEP testing that half of our 8th graders were blessed with the opportunity to participate in a week or so ago went well. The turnout was a little low, and there was some concern we might have to redo it a third time. But I told them, I said, well, just with influenza A going around like it is and stuff, I said, they were wanting 90% turnout. And I said, well, even on a good day, you're not going to get 90% of 8th graders at school. That's a big ask. So they took what we had. So hopefully the results go with the study they're trying to do. And letting 8th grade or 6th and 7th grade families know by Friday we should be sending home information on elective offerings for the 22-23 school year. Already time to plan for that. You'll have spring break to look over the options, and then after spring break, our 6th and 7th graders will take an enrollment elective selection during homeroom after spring break, and then us 5th graders will get a chance to come up, I believe, the 3rd week of April, and they'll have a transition day up at the middle school, and they'll learn a little bit about offerings that 6th grade has through there. So those are just some things to be looking for in the coming week or so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Helton. Mr. Johnson.
I was jotting down some notes here just as far as I wanted to highlight our activities that take place here after Christmas break. through the end of school with our high school. One of the greatest things about being into the high school and the middle school is the activities our students get to be a part of, not just the academic side of it, but also the activity side of it. And when you look at things that we have kicking off that are going full strength, and this is just a small list of things that our students are involved with, in addition to doing their regular ed classes. FFA has been going strong. We had a really good FFA week. I think it was last week or the week before. They're all kind of running together. Mrs. Vinjohn's doing a great job of getting the entire student body involved into what's going on with the FFA program and having a spirit contest. And they actually competed last Wednesday. I forget where she's going to yell at me now, but I forget where they went last Wednesday, but we had an FFA competition. It seems like spring is really big FFA, where they go quite a bit also to that. We have art going to Fort Hays State on Wednesday to take a field trip up there to see a gallery of taking place. Music is in full swing, where we have a concert tomorrow night with our vocal concert, and they're getting prepared for all their contests. So band, music has state large groups. They have solo and ensembles coming up. We have GRAC forensics taking place today. So we have that taking place. Our SAD group went to Topeka last week as a part of the statewide resist coalition that they're trying to start against tobacco and other harmful substance. And with that, then you also finished up bowling, had state bowling this last week, where we had 2 students qualify. Braden Baston and Cole Brown competed at the state level for us. We had wrestling finish up, where we had 1 female and Ryan Rodriguez qualify for state and competed well there. And we had 3 boys that competed at the state tournament for us. We had our basketball teams finish up this last week as well. Really good seasons for those guys. And what's funny to me always is the fact that as winter sports are ending, spring sports have already started. And so it's that dynamic where track, boys golf, swimming, baseball, and softball have already started while the other ones are finishing up. So high school kids are really, really busy right now, in full swing, and we're at spring break next week. And when we come back, we're at 6 weeks of furious fun, and it's going to be over with for some of these guys. So thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, let's move to unfinished business and Bottle CM presentation.
Bottle CM. This is the highlight of the evening as far as I'm concerned. I'm excited about this. I need to do a better job of bringing student project activities before the board. We have all sorts of really cool things taking place continually. And this took place a week or so ago, and Ms. Saburn had reached out to me to invite me to come over and see this. So I did. Went and saw it. It's really cool. And then Randy said, well, could we get this on the board agenda? I said, absolutely. What this really, I'll let, Randy's going to talk about it in just a moment, but under Randy's leadership, we're having a lot of big push in Holcomb Elementary around writing instruction. This is a participatory part of the evening's meeting. Truly, everybody do this. If you feel comfortable writing, raise your hand, please. Okay, people who are not here, less than half the room raise their hand. Okay, people don't like to write, and it has a lot to do with experiences they had coming through school. And so it's an important skill for people to have, and a basic belief of mine is, if you show me a good writer, I'll show you a good reader. If you show me a good reader, I'll show you a good learner. And so this project, as I see it, is kind of a disguised writing project. And also it's art and it's social studies. And with that, I'll shut up, Randy. You can come on up and tell us a little bit more specific about this, and we'll get to the kids. And I can't believe it, but Curtis Pearson he raised his hand when I asked if you feel comfortable writing. So.
I will not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am really excited to have these 4th grade students here with me today, and a couple of 4th grade teachers. And I'm really going to let the teachers talk about this, but I would echo what Dr. Myers said, and what I really liked seeing is this was an opportunity for our kids to really put their writing skills into play. They did some research and they did some other things as well, and they got creative, so it was just an overall awesome project and awesome time for them to be able to present some of what they've worked so hard at. So I'm going to let Mrs. Sanders talk a little bit about what the kids did, and this is actually the social studies state assessment, and so I'm going to let her talk a little bit about that.
All right, so we went to a training in July. The state has asked us to give social studies state assessment at 4th, 7th, and 11th grades this year. My understanding is they would like to expand that so that perhaps 3rd through 12th eventually give the state assessment. So this was a pilot year for us. We didn't really know what to do. We tried some stuff last fall, but we kind of were just playing around with it because when you're 9 or 10, it's hard to do a project-based assessment. It's just a new thing for us. So Haley Sabrin actually came up with this awesome idea to make a bottle-seum. So all of our kids, we asked them to write at least 3 paragraphs using our writing that we're doing. We really focused on topic and concluding sentences and making those details go with those things. So that was our huge writing push as we worked on it. We also asked them to fulfill this essential question, which part of the state assessment is they can't Google the answer. So they have to be able to think of something that they have to use their critical thinking skills and then apply that in their writing. And we could have done lots of different projects. We thought it would be easier if we all did the same thing so that we could kind of get a handle on it. So their essential question was, what is the impact that your famous person has made on society? And so they were allowed to choose any famous person they wanted as long as they could find the information on it. And so we asked our kids to come and share. They're called bottle-seums because they used a 2-liter bottle and they created their character or their person that they admired or researched out of that, okay? So I'm going to let Ace Novak go first. He's going to tell you his person and then read his report for you.
My person is George Lucas. George Lucas is a passionate filmmaker. He made Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and he was a director. Now let's learn about George Lucas. First, let's start with George Lucas's early life. He was born on May 5th, 1944, at Modesto, California. He had 5 family members. One of the schools he went to was USC. For example, there are some facts about George Lucas's early life. Next, let's learn about George Lucas's adult life. His job was a director. He edited a lot. He also was on set a lot. He worked on Star Wars and its release, and there are some facts about his adulthood. Let's look at some of George Lucas's achievements. He made Star Wars, which won him more than 7 Academy Awards. He also directed Indiana Jones, which won him more awards. George Lucas is certainly a successful person. Looking back, George Lucas was a great filmmaker. He was a director. George Lucas is 77 years old. Thank you, George Lucas, for changing movies.
That's great. You can leave your bottle here and then maybe people can come and check it out, okay? Thank you, Ace, so much. We're going to ask Carly Tyne to come up and share her report.
My person was Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria, the queen who shaped England. Queen Victoria was born in 1819, over 200 years ago. She was born in Kensington Palace. Her husband's name was Albert, and she had 10 children. When she lived 200 years ago, she had a very interesting life. Queen Victoria's life was amazing. Victoria worked hard and had a career of being queen. One of her greatest achievements was ruling England. For fun, she liked going on bike rides with her family. That's why she's amazing. Queen Victoria shaped the United Kingdom. First, Queen Victoria shaped a new rule for the royal family. Next, during her reign, slavery stopped. Last, she reigned from 1837 to 1907. That's how she shaped England.
Okay, next we're going to invite Michaela Sanders to come share hers.
So I did Laura Ingalls Wilder. Laura Ingalls Wilder is known for writing children's literature. She wrote a series of books called The Little House, which were about her life growing up as a pioneer in the 1870s and 1880s. In her books, Laura wrote about many things such as her dog dying, her family moving all around the prairie, and how it affected her life. People like to read her books because they are very interesting and her life sounds very interesting. Laura was born in Wisconsin in 1867, where Laura had 3 sisters named Mary, Carrie, and Grace. Her sister Mary became sick of an unknown illness when she was a child. This illness settled in her eyes and it caused her to become blind. Laura became a teacher at age 16 in 1879 because she and her family were raising money to get Mary, one of her sisters, into a school for blind people. Laura married a man named Almanzo Wilder when she was 18. After she was married to Almanzo, she had a kid named Rose, and those in the Wilders family lived on a beautiful farm. Before Laura became a famous writer, she wrote articles in the local newspaper. She wrote autobiographies and began to write Little House in the Big Woods. In the book, Laura and her sister Mary were tossing around a pig's bladder like it was a balloon. People loved Laura's autobiographies, and she wrote a whole series from the beginning of life's travels to her stopping point where she lived in Missouri with her husband Almanzo and her daughter Rose. Laura once said, "The future is in our hands." She also said, "Remember me with smiles and laughter, for that is how I will remember you all. If you can only remember me with tears, then don't remember me at all." Laura died on February 10th, 1957, when she was 90 years old. Laura's impact on the world gave people inspiration to look at the good parts of life and show that it's okay that life is not perfect.
Okay, and our last presentation is Ryer Novak.
My person is James Naismith. The first game of basketball. Be ready to be amazed. James Naismith was born in Amont, Mississippi Mills, Canada in 1861. His family was John Naismith, Annie Naismith, and Robbie Naismith. In 1890, he was asked to make a new game for indoors. He named the game basketball. In 1891, the game was made. He gave a speech about the first basketball game of boys versus boys. He made 13 rules in the rule book for basketball. He refed the first game of basketball. 48 years later, in 1939, he died in Lawrence, Kansas from a stroke. Because of James Naismith, we have the amazing game basketball.
We are really proud of all of our 4th graders. They worked really hard, and I just want to say thank you to the 4 that stepped out of their comfort zone tonight to present in front of the board. You guys all did an awesome job.
Yeah, very well done.
And also just to our teachers who also had to step out of their comfort zone. This isn't one of the easier assessments. You don't just set them in front of a computer. It requires a lot of work, requires a lot of patience. So I just want to say thank you to our 4th grade teachers. You guys did awesome.
And of course, you guys are more than willing to, and more than welcome to stay around for the rest of the meeting, but we understand if you have other pressing matters.
It's a party from now on.
There are cookies up here, though, youngins, if you want a cookie.
All right, let's move to Kisa pilot work update.
Okay, if you guys are aware, we're in year 1 of the new accreditation cycle, and we have, we're taking part in the pilot program of trying to regionalize, actually, is what they're trying to do with the Kisa approach. And we've been there 3 times. The 4th meeting is coming up in March 24th. The work that had to be done from this last time is we created SMART goals for ostensibly those would be the markers to show our academic improvement. A piece of really good news, principals have not shared this with you, but according to what they told me last week when I was pressing them, we do not have to use the state assessments as our growth measure. The goals that you have before you are the state assessments, because when we were creating these, that's what we thought the rules of the game were. Pressed the director of accreditation, I said we want to use FastBridge because it's been done multiple times throughout the year. It would actually show growth. And she said, okay. Now, on the 24th, I'm going to press it again. We'll see. But what you do have right here, right now, is what we put together as far as the goals over the 5-year cycle. So the same logic model will be used for when we shift this over to the FastBridge assessment, formative assessments. Basically, what we're trying to do within ELA and within math, we're trying to lower the number of students in levels 1 and 2. There's 4 levels within the state assessments. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1's the lowest, 4 is the highest. And so currently in ELA, in levels 1 and 2, we have 79% of our students were there. And we're trying to, over a 5-year period, lower it to 50% of our students. Within the actual levels themselves, ELA we had 37%, and in level 2, 42%. So we're trying to get it to 20 and 30%. And just there's a lot of work that goes in behind all of this, of course. It's not just picking some numbers and saying, let's go do it. There's a ton of strategies underway, the curriculum mapping, I mean, a whole bunch of work taking place to impact these rates. Math, very similar numbers. 80% of our students tested within levels 1 and 2, and once again, we're trying to drop them down into where it be 50%. Of course, we want to be even higher than that. We are lower than that, rather, in levels 1 and 2, but the realities are what they are. But the big takeaway is we've done what we're supposed to be doing. We've got a plan, and we will be able to shift away from the using the state assessments into something that should be more indicative of the efforts that are taking place. Principals, anything to add? Okay. Questions? Moving on.
All right. Let's move to pandemic plan revisit.
As a requirement, it's a box to check if we want to qualify for the ESSER 3 monies. Every 6 months, every district in the nation has to revisit the pandemic plan. It's just a requirement. You will see that the pandemic plan that I've brought forward is, there's only one slight adjustment to it from what we've had because it's been working, so why adjust it? And that is we stripped away the language that said the federal mandate that you have to wear masks on the in-school transportation. So aside from that slight variation, this is the same plan that we had produced back, and you guys took action on back in August and September. This is every 6 months until they change their mind on this, and it gets us in the game of getting the $1.3 million that we have coming our way. Our numbers have been just exceptional. Looking to move to level 1 in the near future. I'll probably wait till we're back from spring break. And one of the reasons not to shift right now is it really falls on the principals. If we jump levels, there's work that needs to take place the higher we go as far as bringing out barriers and separating things and whatnot. So we'll give it a little bit more time, and I would expect that we'll be able to finish the year at level 1. Level 1 means it's regular school from 3 years ago. We will keep our enhanced cleaning going, though. We had received a grant that pays for a lot of the cleaning supplies that we have. And it's just habits of hygiene are a good thing. Anyway, washing hands is a good thing. So I would recommend the board approve of the presented pandemic plan. Or I do recommend, not would recommend.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Ryan and Ruta and Jill. Moved and seconded to keep the same pandemic plan we had without
the
masks on school vehicles.
There you go.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Virtual school intent to start.
Jerry, if you'll step up, please. As you're aware, we've been working on the possibility of creating a virtual school to launch next year. One of the stopping spots along this highway is the school board needs to pass the intent to start a virtual school. Then we have to turn it into the KSDE. That gets us in the ballgame. Now, I'm going to recommend that you do that, but even if you do, or if you take that action tonight, nothing locks us in that we have to do it. We can always say, nah, this didn't fit, we're not gonna do this. But the thinking behind this is, it's not that we're sitting around because we're bored. Let's start a new version of the school. The idea is it can better fit some of the needs of some of our people. Jerry, well, I'll say a few more words and I'll turn it to you. It could fit the needs of some of our people. We are, over the last several years, have been losing students anyway to the Garden City virtual school. And so in order to have this opportunity, we have to go through the paces. It'd be an online curriculum. The downside is the funding attached to, the upside is this might be a better form of learning for individual kids. The downside is the funding for the students in the virtual school, it's capped at $5,000. Regular kids who show up to school, it's about $7,200 or so, ballpark. But this is the rules, and so those are the rules. So the point would be, we've already lost several students throughout the years, last couple of years. It would be nice to be able to have kept them even at a lesser amount. Rather keep 5,000 rather than lose the entire 7,300. So that's the idea. We'll have Jerry talk to you about the intended population, how the kids will get into it, and where we might go from there.
Yeah, I think the best thing that we were able to do is go to the virtual school conference that took place in Andover last month. Mrs. Wickwer and myself were able to go up there because we really wanted to see what the parameters were, virtual school, how can it be done, how is everybody doing it. What we found out is there's a lot more schools out there that have virtual schools than I ever could have imagined. You can go as least as you want to, or you can go all the way up to what an Andover school looks like that has 700 kids in virtual school. That's K-12. So they have 25 teachers that are completely virtual school. They do their own curriculum. It's like a mega type thing of what they wanted to do. The best thing we got out of that was you have to determine what your why is for why you want to start a virtual school. I think we've been pretty open and honest about what our why is. We're not looking to add a bunch of students around the state. We want to help our students that we have within our building, the ones that we're losing every year because the virtual option doesn't exist at Holcomb High School for whatever reason that they have. We have 4 to 5 students that have transferred this year. We have 4 or 5 more students that are looking to want to transfer next year for a variety of reasons. One is they can go at a quicker pace on the virtual school so they can graduate quicker. They can get out into the workforce quicker if that's what they want to do, or they can get on with progression through the junior college quicker. That seems to be the biggest factor that we see. These are the students that really they don't have a what I want to say, like an activity that they want to be a part of in the school, and so the school social life isn't a big part to them. They want to really get school done and be able to move on to a different area. Now, with that, a lot of people, when you start talking about virtual school, people have the fear of, if we open this up, then we're going to have half of our population go to virtual school. We polled the students about the current students we have, 9 through 11. We would have anywhere from 10 students that would be interested in doing that, which not all 10 would qualify. They would still have to go through an application process. They would still have to be referred through either a SIT team or a virtual school committee that we would create, whatever we did determine, to see if they're even going to be successful at it. If a student can't come to school right now and can't turn homework in, they're not going to be successful in a virtual school. So this isn't just a bailout. It's more of a fitting the needs of those specific kids that we have. And we'd be looking at our high school students only at this point with it. So.
Yeah, to follow up on that a little bit, Jerry said it in a little different way, better than I had. This possible opportunity for education could better fit the needs of individual kids. I cut my teeth on virtual schools way back when, and he's right. It's not a panacea. It does not fit all. And if people have difficulty getting their work done in the brick and mortar, chances are they're not going to be successful in the virtual setting. So as to make sure we are properly placing people. It's not a direct transfer. It's not like the family comes in and says, we want this. They have to come through a process to where we'd say, okay, this does fit your needs, or show us something here, and then maybe we'll go that way. Ultimately, if we'll do a little pilot program, see how it works. I personally would love to run it K-12, but let's have success first. Figure out the process and get it going. So that's the virtual school work. If it all goes according to Hoyle, we pass the intent to start tonight, turn it into the state, and then there's more work to be done. That being said, once again, we could get to, I don't know, middle of June and say, we're not doing this. Let's just not do it overall. So you're not locked in for life right now by doing this. Any questions?
As far as staffing wise there, then you said that you're kind of expecting about 10 students that had expressed interest, but staffing wise, what would you be looking at?
We would need any additional staff for right now. The person, we currently have somebody that does our online platform during school through Edgenuity. We would just be continuing the Edgenuity platform where we're actually using Edgenuity's teachers to teach the content, but we'd have one person that is the facilitator between Edgenuity and our PowerSchool system. So we wouldn't actually need a additional staff unless we got to the point of, if it gets bigger and bigger, if that's where the board chooses to go bigger after this, then it would be something that the daily contacts that you'd have to have with the students, that's where the increase in staff that you need, because that's how you take attendance, is through their online activity. And so that's how truancy is monitored, that they have to hit so many hours of online activity per week with it.
Okay. Anything that ESSER funding would qualify for this there, that if you had to have any of those positions like we've had in the past for virtual?
I think, we could use ESSER 3 monies for something like this. And the good thing about it, we've got 3 more years to expend the ESSER 3's money. So even if we didn't write it up and put it in for this go-around, if it's fine and it's working and there's money sitting over there, we could choose year 2 of the ESSER 3 process to dump some more funds into it. I do recommend, rather, the board pass a motion for us to submit to the KSDE our intent to start a virtual school next school year.
So moved.
Second. Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to pass our motion to submit our intent to start to KSDE for the virtual school for next school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business, 2022-2023 school calendar adoption.
Yep, the school calendar, or the calendar committee has been working since just after Christmas, and having created 2 calendars for the staff to consider. The vote came back, solidly in favor of the calendar I'll be presenting to you tonight, 63% to 37%. It basically it mirrors this year's, except it had to be adjusted because of the holiday, Christmas break and whatnot. It's very similar to last year's. The one thing I do want to mention to you is the couple things. This particular calendar, once again, it mirrors pretty much what's going on right now. 3 years ago, I think it was, through negotiations process, the 15 minutes were added to each school day, thus taking out of the calendar 5 days. That is set to sunset, like every year. It's set to sunset until the language in the negotiated agreement changes. So I do recommend that you approve of this calendar tonight, fully well knowing if the negotiations process does not look like it's going to get finished by a certain date in June, then we will need to come back in and put the 5 days back in. Or the option is, there's 3 options. Do that, get the negotiation settled, or have an MOU with the hat to go 1 more year. So it's not, once again, we're not painted into a corner, but this might not be the final version of the calendar, depending on what goes on in that other process. Okay. Also, I do want to mention, it was the committee, and Matt can attest to this, he was there. I did not push it, but it was the committee that brought forth the idea of, hey, what about the balanced schedule? And I said, Let's talk about it. And so they asked me to bring it back to the next meeting, which I did. I brought it back, and more and more takers. They're like, to the point where that committee said, well, this really shouldn't just be a bunch of teachers making this decision. I said, well, I agree with that. They said, well, we'd like to talk to, what do you think the public thinks? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the public thinks. We probably need to get some feedback about it. I don't want to go down that path without the blessing of the board, because people are going to call you up and say, what the heck are you doing? On first view, when people see balanced schedule or year-round schooling, their initial reaction is never positive. Very rarely is it positive. But as people dig into it, they find out there are benefits that are really actually better for our students and our adults. Slowly but surely, they kind of wade into that water a little bit further. Now, that's a far cry from saying, let's do this next year. I mean, I didn't put one together. I'm not presenting a balanced calendar to you. We did find there are 501, USD 501, that's the Topeka district is kicking it around. There's a district outside of Kansas City that does it. So it's unheard of. I think, Amy, you shared, is it Arizona, where districts have, was it you that shared, or was it Stacy who was sharing that with me? Anyway, other parts of the nation have balanced schedules. And so our calendar is built on the old agrarian calendar of why is spring break here? For planting. Honestly and truly, if you want to look at our population, very small, low percentage of our families are paying their bills by living on a working farm. I'm not saying we don't have farmers. We do have farmers. But it's definitely not more than 50% of our student population. I'd guess it's less than 5% of our student population.
And what's being planted in March 18th?
Potatoes.
Sugar beets. Sugar beets.
So anyway, that's not a part of the motion tonight, the balance schedule, but I wanted it out there, that the calendar committee thinks that we really should be talking to the public by now to see what they think. So, but I do recommend that you approve the presented calendar for the 22-23 school year.
Matt, I'll make that motion to approve the calendar as presented.
Okay, Jill,
Second.
Ryan Schreiber, moved and second to adopt the presented calendar for the 2022-23 school year. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, out-of-state travel request.
The Halo group from the high school has come forth with a request to travel to San Antonio, April 7th through April 10th, to attend the Fiesta San Antonio event. As I wrote to you, it focuses on honoring the memory of the heroes of the Alamo and the Battle of San Jacinto. I don't know how you say it. Thank you. Okay. And also focuses on the cultures in the area. This would entail 8 students, 2 adults. The Halo group would fit the bill. They're just asking for transportation. I recommend the board approve of the out-of-state travel request.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Sean,
Second.
Ryan Schreiber, moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel for the Halo group. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, summer sports transportation.
Yeah, every year the board addresses this to allow our various teams to possibly utilize school vehicles to attend summer camps. Back 6 years ago, KSU changed the ruling on this. Previous to that, it was not allowed, but now it is allowed. And so before my time, the district has addressed this and embraced it and created the if you will, policy to allow our people to utilize our school vehicles to attend these events. We've had no issues. No one's asked for it yet this year, but I'm sure somebody will be down the road. I recommend that you approve of the request to allow our coaches to utilize district vehicles to attend summer camps.
So moved.
Second it.
Ryan, Ruda, and Jill moved and seconded to approve summer sports transportation. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, engagement letter to Kennedy and McKee.
Yeah, last month we had the formal audit presented to you and came through nice and clean. And so this is a yearly event, and it's by statute, by the way, that we have a group come in and do this work for us, and we're perfectly happy with the work that Kennedy and McKee do. They're thorough. They hold us accountable. We have a good working relationship with them. So the proposal for next year is $12,825. That's an increase of $375. Once the federal funds dissipate, this will go down over time because we have to do a thing called the single audit because we receive over, was it Mike, 700,000? 750. Yeah. Since we receive that much in federal funds, it creates more work. That's why it jumped a couple years back. In a few years, with the ESSER dollars going away, I would expect that to go away as well, that single audit. But anyway, in the meantime, I recommend approval of the engagement letter to go forward with Kennedy and McKee for next year.
So moved.
Curtis?
Second it.
Jill, moved and seconded to approve the proposed contract with Kennedy and McKee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Executive session, 15 minutes.
I stand by it.
Wow.
15 minutes.
Curtis is here, we probably better
Have you had a monster? Nope, it's got a Dr. Pepper. Well, okay. What if we go, just you?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, let's go into executive session at 7 o'clock for 15 minutes to include Dr. Myers.
So moved.
Ryan and
Second it.
Kurt, Casey? Sure. Okay, and Casey. Moved and seconded to go into executive session for 15 minutes at 7 o'clock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hit your Okay, we are back in session.
You turn the mic on. Yep, is it on?
Nope, Robin didn't get me covered.
You did fine.
You didn't babysit me. All right, we're back in session. I need a motion to hire Megan Cornelison as a middle school teacher.
Second it.
Curtis and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Megan Cornelison. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, I need a motion to hire Ovanda Partridge as a full-time custodian.
So moved.
Ryan Trivogel,
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Ovanda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to approve the supplementals as presented.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to approve the supplementals. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jill and Curtis. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?